Right. My name's Dennis Hall. It's, I don't know, it's August, 16th of August. Yesterday, this video turned up, and it was called Fire and Fury. And so what I've done is I've got it on this other computer here, right? And I've put this on a box so that it's up a bit higher. And it has a different keyboard, of course. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video. And hang on a minute, I just opened this. And come on, Dennis. Still not right. Oh, capital. Trying your patience. So what I got here is this video on another screen, right? So, and the idea here is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about this video because I think it's the most important video that I've seen in recent times. Just as, and I just put that a bit, get the angle a little bit better. So as you can see, I'm lucky I've got two. This computer broke down. I put it in to get fixed, and then I went and bought this one, but they fixed that one, so now I've got two exactly the same. But they're both Apple computers, and unfortunately they're both as slow as a wet week. So, you know, sometimes this is a bit difficult, but whatever. So what I'm going to, you know, have a look at this. It's paused at the moment. What does it say? Can you read that? Is it close enough? But what it does, it says public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air, right? Can we read that? Is it close enough? I don't know. I can't really make it any closer and still remain sensible. And it's always going to be a little bit out of focus, I think. So anyway, the objective here is that I believe that this is the most subversive video ever made by New Zealand On Air, and they've called it Fire and Fury. You know, which is a provocative name, a little bit like one you might use for a bikie club. And so I've been through it, and it is so easy to pull to pieces that it doesn't matter. I cannot believe that responsible journalists would have done this, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a series of videos. And I've discovered that I can make, it's probably going to end up being 10 half-hour videos, so we're talking 5 hours at least to be able to get the whole thing in. But it is extraordinary just how easy it is to pull this apart. And it is extraordinary that the government has resorted to this kind of propaganda, cheap and nasty. It's not cheap and nasty, it's cheap and nasty in content. But the thing about this, you'll probably look at this at home, but you'll see that the production values are very high. This has been done very professionally, and I would say if it hasn't cost $250,000, I'd eat my hat. Or someone else's, I guess. And so basically, what I've tried to do is pause this while we can look at it on here, and I'll just give you a quick demonstration of that. I can't seem to get that where I want it in the screen. But you know, once I press the button, and as you can see, you can hear it. And as you can see, I mean, this has been very carefully filmed, but this has been filmed by experts. None of this is cheap, not cheap and nasty stuff. But unfortunately, you can see the reflection of my other computer. That's because this is my editing suite.
Now it's time for us to have a chat. Now it's time for us to be heard. And that is what we're going to become.
Messages being pumped out to New Zealand audiences.
Fuck no. The sun has not gone down yet. There is still plenty of daylight left in this game, and all of you are fucked.
Now, so you can see that they've they left the language in, and it was sort of not really that sort of thing that Radio New Zealand used to, but they can now, I suppose. So I'm going to keep this video fairly short because, to be honest, I've actually made some of the other ones, and I realised that I needed to introduce this more clearly for what it is. It is a New Zealand. It is a video produced by TVNZ, New Zealand On Air, Radio New Zealand, and Stuff, and it's in the name of Stuff, and it's paid for by, and it says on the screen, it's paid for by the Responsible Journalism Fund, which was set up by the Ardern government. And I mean, so you have to think about this for a minute. I probably repeated it in what I've already made. The thing about that is that Responsible Journalism Fund paid for by the government means that, it's just think about what it means. It is called the Responsible Journalism Fund. The government are paying for it. They decide what's responsible and what's not, because you've got to convince them that the journalism that you've just done is responsible for it to be paid for. And so that means you've got to fit the government's criteria. So as soon as the government starts dictating what the media can say, it obliterates instantly all of, I'm getting a bit highly strung, it obliterates all of the objectivity you might have expected from journalism. And so in this thing, you'll realise that a lot of people in New Zealand are attacking what they call mainstream media. And the reason for that is it is very obvious to a lot of people in New Zealand that the mainstream media has been subverted by this bloody multi-million dollar fund. I think it was $55 million. It buys a lot of bloody $55 million would buy a lot of loyalty from a whole lot of journalists, I'll tell you what. And so, and it shows when we watch the TV news. And so to tell you who I am, I mean, I write a lot. I write a lot of essays. I've got a reasonably big following on Facebook. I don't get paid for what I do. I do it because I believe in it. And I'm very, very concerned about where New Zealand's going. So, some people might call me a radical. But, basically I've always been a national supporter. When I was younger, I was mowing the lawn one day up at the homestead when I was up there. And I just the day before, I'd done portraits of two of the local ladies. I mean, just little ones out of clay in front of them while we were drinking sherry. And I realised I could get a likeness. So the next day when I'm mowing the lawn, I had this thought, jumped off, run inside, rung up Muldoon, rung up Parliament, said, "Can I talk to Muldoon's secretary?" And they said, "Yep." And I said, "Look, I'd like the idea of making a portrait of Muldoon. He's got a craggy face." And because I knew that his face was so distinctive, it would be easy to get a likeness. And I said, him and I could sit down together and we could have a talk. And he could paint a verbal portrait of himself while I did a clay portrait. And they said, basically they said yes. And 2 weeks later, that's what I was doing. And so I had 6 sittings with Rob Muldoon. So basically if Muldoon was right-wing, so am I. But I would call myself conservative. So I'm a conservative commentator in New Zealand who doesn't get paid. I do it for the love of it. I do it because I enjoy writing. And I'm going to keep on doing it regardless. But so what I'm doing here is I'm using some of those skills, if they could. I certainly don't have presentation skills, as you can see, I mean, I should get rid of the hat, but, I'm not sure. Oh, no, I look too much like... So I wear the hat, and it's cold and I'm old. And, So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this video to pieces, brick by brick, by pausing it. Some of it's going to be difficult to watch because there'll be a reflection on the screen and blah, blah, blah. But also sometimes my voice will get mixed up with their voice, and I'll do my best to avoid that. I'm learning as I go. So this will be, I'm going to finish this. I'm coming up for 10 minutes. These other videos will be 30 minutes long. I'm going to put them on a Facebook. I'm going to put them on a YouTube channel, which will be called which is called Milton Smirk, I think. And so to get Milton Smirk, you've got to put Milton Smirk as one word, all in capitals. And so all of the ones that I've already got on there, I mean, I just did it for fun when I did it. And so finally, it's going to have a proper use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to block all the ones that are there because they're irrelevant to all of this. And so it'll become a series of these up to 10 videos, which will be a continuation of this. And basically what they're going to do is explain brick by brick what the government are trying to do to you. And instead of going out and finding information and evidence, I'm just going to use what they provided. Because, you know, it turned up on my Facebook feed along with another one from this guy, what's his name? At the same time, another one from Trevor Loudon. Trevor Loudon, who's a New Zealander commentator working in America, and he summarised New Zealand politics very well on the same day as I got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with this one first because this is the subversive one. What did I say it was called? Fire and bloody, I don't know, fire and excitement, fire and something, fire and flames. Extraordinary. But it'll be all over the internet. You'll find it easily. But anyway, you'll be able to watch it here. But the one that you watch here is going to be interrupted all the time by me talking. And they might come and sue me for that or whatever. I mean, they can do their worst. I just got to say, the other message that I would give the people who would want to shut me down for doing this is I'm too old to care. I'm 81 years old. You can't do anything to me. Jacinda and friends, you can't do anything to me. All you can do is make me famous. So give it a go. You need to understand a little bit about that, ladies, because, you know, this whole bit of nonsense has got out of control. And that lack of control is exhibited perfectly in this. And I'll tell you something else that I'm going to do in this before I go. I'm going to identify a future Prime Minister of New Zealand. Yep, I sure am. So thanks. I got two. See, look, I got 2 keyboards, 2 mices, and a cell phone, and I've got to try and make sure I grab the right mouse every time. And this computer that we're on now is very slow, so it could be a bit patchy in places. Please persevere, and we'll see how we go. So thank you very much.